Today I'm talking about 3 Elisabeth Shue films, all from the year 2010. And the names of those 3 movies are Janie Jones, Piranha 3D, and Waking Madison. First up is Janie Jones. The basic premise of this, there is this man who has been struggling to become a rock star for like 15 years. And then one day this woman shows up and she's like, yo, this 13-year-old girl is your daughter. And also I'm a junkie, so I'm leaving her with you. And yeah, no, the movie's great. You definitely can tell what all of the plot points are pretty quickly. Like, you know where the movie's going, you know what emotional things they're gonna hit. But they did a really good job with the emotion that I didn't care at all that I knew where it was going, because each individual scene just like really struck a chord with me, and I could like really feel the struggle of like this guy. He's failed so hard at trying to achieve his dream, but he still just wants to keep riding it because change is hard. And there's this little girl who just wants a parent. She just wants someone to connect with, someone to love her. And her mom, for all of her faults, just can't give that to her. And maybe this man who she's never met before is this opportunity for this real connection, real parental connection. And it's such a beautifully told story. I also really love the music. There's a lot of music in this because they're both musicians, and it's very folky music, which is my type of jam. This is probably gonna be one of my favorite musics of the year, just because like it really struck a chord with me, the sound. I will say the little girl who's from Little Miss Sunshine isn't always the best, but I could forgive it because I was able to ride the greatness of the rest of the film. So yeah, no, I thoroughly enjoyed this movie and would wholeheartedly recommend it. Again, it's predictable, you're gonna be able to see where things are going, but that really doesn't matter because they nail all of those emotions so well. So yes, really good film, definitely worth a watch. Next up is Piranha 3D. My floor is so squeaky. The basic premise of this is it's just Jaws, but with more boobs. And it's interesting because I went into it with pretty low expectations. I remember when it came out and just not giving a shit about it, because I'm just like, it's just softcore porn, the movie. And it is that, but there is more to it. It's definitely shot well. It's made by the guy who did High Tension, which really surprised me. Upon watching it, it makes total sense because like it's shot so competently. The violence is done really well. There's some really brutal stuff. There's one in particular of a woman getting her face ripped off. That was definitely a highlight of the film. The CGI piranhas aren't good, but they are pretty dang fearsome. Where this movie falters is really twofold. One is there's so many shots of just boobs and butts. And it's like, I get it, that's what they were going for, but like it's too much. Like it's just nothing happening for long stretches of time because it's just, we gotta look at all these boobs and butts because they're boobs and butts. And I'm like, can we please just move on to something else? Like I get it, hot people, great. The next thing, please. And what they should have done is cut that stuff down. You can still have it. Horny movies are allowed to exist. But replace the excessiveness with actual character arcs. Because they did a good job of setting up the characters. Like the mom, Elisabeth Shue, is this struggling single parent who's also the sheriff of this small town, and it's the busy season. It's spring break. Everything's gone to hell. Everything's piling on top of her. So like there's so many places you can take that character, but they don't do anything with it. And like why we need that stuff in this film is so that when the characters die, because a lot of these characters die, we give a shit and are more emotionally devastated because it's like, oh, I wanted that person to live, and then they got mauled to death and it was crazy. That moment will hit so much more because we want them to survive, because we know who they are. But because we didn't get that, it was kind of hard to care about the carnage because it's just like, the people who are gonna die are gonna die, the people who are gonna live are gonna live. It's whatever. So yeah, I did like this movie though, because like there is a lot in here that's interesting. It's just they got distracted by the boobs and butts and just completely forgot about character arcs is where it all faltered. And so yeah, it's not bad. I would recommend it, honestly. Just know what you're getting yourself into. It'd probably be better as like a party movie, like watching it with a bunch of friends while having some drinks or something. Definitely don't go into this movie too seriously. I know I didn't, but like, you know, definitely set your expectations low will help raise the experience of the film. So yeah, it's not bad. It could have been something, but it didn't because it got distracted by being horny. So it is what it is. And lastly is Waking Madison. This movie is something. So I don't know how to describe this movie in which the movie wants you to think what it is, because there's a lot of twists in here, but they're really obvious and you need to know what they are in order to even understand what's happening. So okay, it starts off with this woman who is deciding to lock herself in her apartment for 30 days because she needs to figure out herself, her life, how to live life. And if she doesn't do that within the 30 days, then she's gonna kill herself. So that's the setup. But then what we proceed to see is this mental institution with a bunch of other women with all of these silly personalities. And it's like, it's so incredibly disconnected from the other thing that unless you figure out what the twist is, it makes absolutely no sense. And so I'm just gonna spoil the twist because you need to know it. Even if I don't say it, you would figure it out. But all of the characters in the mental institution are her. They're specifically different personalities of her, which is very incredibly obvious. But also the movie doesn't want you to realize that right away, because a big moment within the film is when the main character realizes that, oh, there are multiple minds in my mind. Crazy. Okay, putting all of that stuff aside, what else is in this movie? Well, I mean, it's very disjointed, for sure, and a number of the actors are not good. The main woman was okay at times, but also not great. Elisabeth Shue was fine, definitely fine. Imogen Poots is in this, and she is doing a funny voice. It's an American funny voice, and it kind of works. She's not bad. It's definitely strange, but it was also kind of endearing. I am biased because I've seen essentially all of her movies, so I'm inclined to like her doing kind of anything. But yeah, no, the worst one is like the thug character. And like, I think she's doing what the director wanted her to do, but it was the wrong choice. It's such a bad choice. Oh my God. Stop. Just stop. Ugh. So like, I really didn't give a shit about the one character or what happened to her. And it was just really poorly made and poorly executed and poorly acted. And just all in all, a really bad, terrible experience. I sometimes forget that like, when I watch a really good movie, it gives me a high, like a legit high that I'm like kind of floating a little bit afterwards. If I'm just like, I'm jazzed about life and the experience I just had and I can't wait to tell other people about it. But then I forget about the inverse, that when I watch a really bad movie about how it makes me feel bad about myself and just puts me into like a mini depression for a couple of hours. And this was definitely one of those experiences. I thought about shutting it off, but I was like, no, I need to give it the college try for Imogen because I've watched all of her films and I need to not make an exception with this one. And I mean, I don't regret that, but also, man, was I bummed out for a while after this film. So yeah, no, hated this movie, do not recommend it. I unfortunately now own it because it wasn't streaming anywhere and I couldn't find it on the high seas, but it was available on eBay of all places. So yeah, honestly, I kind of wouldn't mind tossing this into a fire, but yeah. Alrighty, now for today's rankings. First up, we got Janie Jones sitting at number 22 in the really like section. And then after that is Piranha 3D sitting at number 69 in the liked category. I did not do that intentionally. And then bringing up the rear, rightfully so, is Waking Madison, sitting at number 84 in the didn't like section. And this is out of a total of 84 old movies so far this year. Yep, it's in dead last, and it deserves it.